do you advise that this is the right way to go through? Like, should one just jump directly into intraday, or how does one figure out what is right for him or her?
We already have some 1 crore view on my favorite indicator on our YouTube channel. That's 44 moving average. The more we see different types of market, the more we understand what works for us and what does not work for us.
Trading as a profession, be it part time or full time, can be a very rewarding one. But then it comes with its own set of challenges that makes it one of the hardest professions in the whole world. Now, joining me today are Sharique and Siddharth, and we'll be tapping into their experience and taking their insights and address some of the questions that people have when they're starting their own trading journey. So, Sharique, one of the things that confuses a new trader is that what kind of trading should he do? As in go for swing trading or short long-term investing, or just jump into the lure of intraday trading. So, what's your take on that? What would you advise?
No, I strongly believe it's the lore, it's how lucrative intraday trading is. That is what brings people into the world of stock market, right? All of them with a lot of leverage, with very less capital, they want to make large money, and that is the lore which bring people into the world of stock market. Now, this is very interesting, right? Because even I'm sure, even for you, for me as well, the journey was like this. We started with intraday stocks, then probably tried a bit with intraday option buying, that too out of the money, so that the capital required is very less. And then I personally led myself into option selling, which requires considerably higher amount of capital. And if you look at the absolute profits which is being generated, it's not that great, right? I mean, I'm talking about absolutes here with lesser capital. But again, now when I look back, I know I need not had to go through intraday equity, intraday option buying to reach here. But again, that's the natural journey. If intraday equity wasn't there, the lore wasn't there, the high leverage, high profit potential wasn't there, I wouldn't have probably became a trader, right? So I strongly believe it's a natural journey that people go through, where they get into intraday equity, they probably lose money there, then they eventually figure out their journey going ahead. So it's just a natural journey that people go through. But
So, do
eventually,
you do
I mean,
you? Sorry for cutting in. Do you advise that this is the right way to go through? Like, should one just jump directly into intraday, or how does one figure out what is right for him or her?
mhm. So again, to figure out what is right or wrong would take time, and but for people to spend that much time in the world of trading, I mean, some time is required, right? So in that time, it's very natural for them to try out intraday trading, is what I believe. I mean, if you cut it off, if that's not available anymore, I don't know how many people would actually be interested. The total number of people who come in would go down. That's for sure. But yeah, you would burn money. That's for sure. But again, I mean, and I strongly believe for someone to call themselves a trader or would love to be in the market for a long period of time, irrespective if the market is moving up, down, or sideways. I mean, I believe a good trader should definitely get into FNO. But I see that being a huge friction for people. I mean, learning FNO is a difficult thing. At least people think so. I mean, they find it as a bottleneck to get into FNO. For that reason, when they find that intraday equity is not making them money, in fact, they're losing money there, they get into swing trading. I see a lot of people just doing swing trading, being there,
Right.
but even that is not enough to be a successful trader over market cycles, right?
A question related to this is, what instrument should one trade with? For instance, go ahead with equities, options, or futures, or let's just say, when should one get into FNO? Like, I
Hmm.
see people coming in and simply going ahead buying options without knowing the ABCD of options. What exactly is it? Let's simply buy in options, deep OTM options, and just hope for it to double, triple, or go multi-bagger. So, what is your take on that?
Right. So that is a very, very conscious decision to make, right? When to get into FNO. So one is very normal, like you said, getting into deep OTM buying is a very normal thing. That too, they probably don't know what call option and put option is. All they know is, if you think the underlying would go up, buy a call option. If you think the underlying would go down, buy a put option. That is the only thing that they know. I mean, a lot of them do not know the complexities behind how an option is priced, how they work, and whatnot, right? So after a point when they lose a lot of money, they should get serious about it. They should either decide whether to go ahead with trading seriously or completely stop it. Very natural. This is what happened to me as well. I started with equity intraday. Then I figured out that futures is something similar to equity, but again, you can make more money. I did not understand what futures was, but just knew there was lot size and margin required is comparatively lower if you compare it to the normal quantity into the stock price, right? So that's how I got into it. But so normally people would get into even futures trading or option buying just like that, just for the purpose of making money. And with that purpose, when they start losing money, there will be a point where they'll have to actually take a decision. Should I continue this? If the answer is yes, they should be serious about it. At that point, they'll probably start learning seriously and start doing stuff seriously. Otherwise, they should just leave this, is what I believe.
Yeah, right. Siddharth, there's an eternal debate between traders, price action versus indicators. So a lot of people would say that price action is superior, indicators, they don't work. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. What's your take on that? Like whether to go for price action or indicators?
So it's like in the beginning, maybe one has to learn both. We need to start with both indicators also, price actions also, and oscillators also, and then we need to figure it out कि कौन सा वाला मेरे को जमता है. It's all about what suits me. Maybe something what suits Sharique might not suits me or might not suits you. So we need to figure it out कि what suits me. For few people, maybe price action is a lot more better than reading RSI or moving average, but for many of them can be moving average. For somebody like me, moving average is much more comfortable to trade and study than just a price action and clean price action. So with simplicity and understanding and experience, it may vary time to time, but one has to learn both and then figure it out what suits me.
Right. So any favorite indicators that you have?
I think so. We already have some 1 crore view on my favorite indicator on our YouTube channel. That's 44 moving average. So that's what we do a lot. So simple 44 moving average. If it's rising, that's time to buy. If it's falling, it's time to short. Across time frames, across instruments, whether it's crypto, equity, options, doesn't matter. 44 moving average is something which you look for, and the number is not the secret. 54 laga lo, 34 laga lo, but at the end of the day, you need to follow the price, which we say as a bhav bhagwan she in Gujarati.
So I think Siddharth is absolutely right. Price action or indicators, it's a very personal choice. Some people, find indicators to be easier to read, especially when it comes to a new person. It might be harder for them to probably read momentum. So probably RSI or something like that would show them a better picture. Gradually, as one goes through their trading journey, they figure out what works best for them. Indicators, price action, it just does not matter. Personally, for me, there are a lot of strategies that are run purely on price action and some of them on indicators. One point which I feel, Siddharth, I think you'll be able to tell, I have seen people put a lot of indicators on their screen. Like, वो chart छुप जाता है और indicators रह जाते हैं. So, what is your advice? Like, I've seen people using RSI also, stochastics also, another indicator also. I think a lot of indicators are giving the same information, but people probably kind of think that there is some holy grail in combining different indicators. What is your advice on that?
True. It's like a few years back, maybe I was also pretty much same. नीचे RSI stochastic MACD and ऊपर 2-4 moving averages and उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा डबल टॉप डबल बॉटम ड्रॉ करके पड़ा होता था, प्लस वॉल्यूम्स एंड ओपन इंटरेस्ट अलग से. But with the time, once you go deeper into the tools and deeper into the indicators and deeper into the markets, once you lose a lot of money, you realize that indicators are not helping you. You realize that more tools are not helping you. The more we see different types of market, the more we understand what works for us and what does not works for us. So वहाँ से फिर एक एक टूल निकलते जाते हैं. The more we read, the more we understand कि यार stochastic MACD RSI it's the same, मतलब एक ही खेत की मूली है, तीनों में से एक आधी लगा ले तो काम हो जाएगा. ऊपर में you might need one moving average, whether it's like depends on के कितना long term trade करना है या कितना short term trade करना है. Extreme short term करना है then maybe 15-20 moving average. Medium term करना है तो maybe 40-50-60 moving average. Long term
Right,
करना है तो maybe 100-150 200 moving average, something like that. So वो फिर एक आध दो टूल पे कंक्लूड हो ही जाते हैं हम एक आध 2 साल फट के खा के, बट वो 2 साल बने रहना इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड उसके लिए
correct.
स्टॉप लॉस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
I
just
think
be in the game.
what Siddharth wants to say is कि losses लो और automatically आपको
Yes,
समझ आ जाएगा कौन सा इंडिकेटर काम करता है कौन सा नहीं करता.
100%, and I'll take small losses.
Yeah. So coming to mistakes that traders make, I'm sure this is a question that all of us, including the audience, has an answer to. Sharique, as per you, what are the top 2-3 mistakes that traders make and should try to fix ASAP?
Fix their
Mistakes ASAP. What do you think is the top problem that traders face?
Got it. So number one is expectations from the market, right? It's expectation from trading as a profession, a career, how much rewarding it can be. So a lot of them come into the market expecting to make profits in absolute terms. They want to make 5,000 rupees a day. Again, since we are speaking to beginners today, trading, that's what we are addressing, right? So a lot of them, their initial orientation is in lines of, okay, I want to make 5,000 rupees a day, 10,000 rupees a day, and they multiply it by 20, maybe 5 loss-making days, and making, okay, 5,000 into 15 as well. Okay, I'll make 75,000 a month, which is good. I'll have a good life. Now, when they do that, maybe they're having a capital of only maybe 1 lakh rupees. So they don't have a realistic expectation from the market. They don't have benchmarks with which they can compare. Say, I see a lot of traders who still, when they come into the market, they see market as a money-making tool. They still do not know the fact that inflation is 6% and FDs give you 5%, mutual funds is 15%, and a good trader makes what, 50 to 60% maybe. They don't know these benchmarks, and what they know is, I have 1 lakh rupees, I want to make 50,000 a month. So it takes time for traders to, they have to spend some time in the market to know these benchmarks. So they have to know these ASAP is what I believe. When they know these ASAP, their expectations would start becoming right. And when their expectations are right, they wouldn't be sad and they wouldn't leave the market. They wouldn't chase out of the world trades. They wouldn't put 100% of their capital into, again, a deep out of the money option buying so that they can double their capital. Doubling capital is something which is normalized apparently in the world of trading, which is not practical at all. So what is practical, what is doable, what is well within the industry benchmarks, these people do not know. Takes time. That has to change ASAP, right? That's number one. Number two, since we just mentioned position sizing, which is very important, right? Fail to do that. It's normal for people to buy tips when they begin. It's just another natural journey. Nothing against. Even I have done the same in the initial days. So nothing against that. But what users or what traders fail to understand in the initial days is the power of position sizing. They see a tip or they see a trade idea, or they get a trade idea. Most probably they put their 100% capital into that, right? So position sizing comes, you have to work backwards, right? How much are you ready to lose in a day? From there, you have to work backwards and reach the capital that you can deploy in a trade. So in a trade, you might end up deploying 10, 20, 25, 30% of your capital. So that has to be intelligently worked out. Position sizing. Again, I know that there are a lot of logic behind it, right? Starting from how much is the max drawdown that you're ready to take. Max drawdown can be in a span of even 3 months for you, right? So from that MDD, you can come down to what is your MDD in a day, which is max drawdown in a day. From that max drawdown in a day to how many trades are you willing to take. From there, you will actually get what capital to deploy in a single trade. Again, a lot of beginners never think all of these. These are things people start to think only after 1, 2, 3 years into their journey. So this has to change ASAP. And finally, I would say jumping between systems. This is the largest one I've seen between in a lot of beginners, right? They get a system, and one thing I've learned over the time is most of the systems work. If you compare trading strategy styles between, say, gurus or whoever is teaching it or whoever is putting it out, most of them work. It's just that people who are learning it is not putting them to work, right? So you have to give any system or strategy some good enough good enough of time to make it work, right? There are market cycles, some strategies, there can be losing streaks, which is okay. But in the long term, it might be giving money. But what beginners fail to do is they learn a strategy, or they make a strategy of themselves. They trade on it for maybe a month. That's profitable, good. They trade for the next month. It's loss. On the next month, maybe it's again giving loss for 1-2 days. They give up on the strategy and they move on to a next strategy. So if someone keeps on doing this, they'll never land on a good strategy, right? I mean, any strategy, any system, any setup, let it be, you have to give it time, you have to trust on it. Say you backtest it, you forward test it for some time. If you have developed confidence and you said, okay, let me put my money into it, then you have to do it for minimum 6 months, 1 year minimum, and then see the actual returns in the live market. Only then skip or jump between strategies. Otherwise, you're just
Right.
bound to fail. See some YouTuber
Great
talking
point,
about
Sharique. Yeah.
there, you go behind him. Some other YouTuber putting out some stock market backtested results, you go behind that. Never gonna work, right? So I would say
Yeah.
these three.
I think very valid points. Expectation setting is something very important. A lot of people come in with the expectation of making money overnight, especially in this era of screenshots. There are people putting up screenshots,
Yeah.
claiming to make 100% a year, 200% a year. It's a cakewalk for them. And I sometimes wonder why the biggest funds in the world, who have brilliant people working for them, are able to generate just 20, 30, 40% per annum. And there are people on our Indian FinTwit, generating returns in 3 digits. So
Yeah.
that is something someone has to be realistic about. And another point, Sharik, a very good one, is system hopping. Uh, Sharik, bilkul, he mentioned it very right that systems do work. It is our failure to make them work. It is as simple as that. You follow a system with discipline, with consistency, it will give you money. There might be periods of drawdown, but ultimately it will give you money. But then hopping between systems, the moment a system stops working for a month or two, you try and jump to another system. That will just cause you to lose money in the long run, gradually, slowly by slowly. What will happen is, you quit a system in its worst performing phase and jump to another system. Then the worst performing phase of that system comes, you jump to another system. In short, you are just catching the worst performing phases of each system until they stop working. So getting rich overnight is, the lure of the stock market. A lot of people come into the market with this expectation. In reality, how long does it, take to be successful? What is the learning curve like? What are the expectations like, Siddharth? What do you feel is the learning curve like when you enter the markets?
You know,
Is it really a get rich quick scheme?
it depends on from whom you are learning, I can say. Maybe if you can get right mindset on a first place, apart from that, right risk management system, as Sharique was speaking, position sizing. So right mindset, right risk management, and then strategy, as he said, pretty much everything works. Huh? So right mindset, right risk management, position sizing, stop loss, target, trailing stop loss. If these things are set, position sizing and mindset, then strategy कुछ भी चलेगा. बट अगर फर्स्ट या सेकंड या दो में से कहीं पे अगर लोचा है, या तो माइंडसेट में या तो पोजीशन साइजिंग में, then any strategy won't work. So for few people it might take few years, for few people it might be from first year they can make money. So सबसे पहले इन दो चीज़ों को सॉर्ट आउट करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, which is mindset and position sizing and whole risk management game itself.
Sharik, what do you think is the learning curve in reality like? कितना time लगता है to be successful?
So very funny thing, right? So the problem that the learning curve is long is because people come into trading with wishful thinking. They really never want to learn trading. They never really want to be a trader. They came into trading because they thought it's easy money. They saw screenshots on FinTwit, like you said, and they came into trading. So because more people are like that, if you take the average learning time, it would be very long because they really don't want to learn, right? They leave before that. But very few are people who come into trading with an actual mindset of, okay, I want to learn this professionally. I want to be a great trader and then learn. So I've seen people who actually came in with no knowledge about the market, becoming a good FNO trader in 6 months. I've seen multiple people like that.
Yes.
Multiple people like that. I mean, you talk to them about Greeks, they can sit and talk for hours about Greeks in depth. Now, we have some knowledge about the market as of now. Now, if we may ask ourselves how much time would it take if we put in all of our intent, all of our effort, I think 6 months is more than enough, right? And that's where I like famously talk about the same. If you compare, now the problem with trading not being mainstream or not great big traders out there is because trading is not mainstream in India, right? So if you put trading onto a pedestal and there are professional courses around it, parents start pushing like children to start trading like they push children to do IIT, right? If such sort of a culture is there, then I think becoming a trader would be an easier job than becoming a good computer engineer, maybe, right? Because I think trading is only so difficult, right? I mean, if you have the right intent, put in the right amount of effort, intent is very important, right? Then it's only as much difficult, right? You can definitely learn and be good at it. So if you ask me, for that set of people who really want to do it well, then I think it's well within a year. You can definitely become a person with knowledge well within a year, but then you then start trading. I would say someone should call themselves a good trader only with what minimum 1 to 2 or 3 years of PNL backing them, right, across market cycles. Because I mean 2020 we also, right, people came into the market, they even with swing trading and symbol, they just put money, after a few months they are out, so they have a good 1 year of PNL. Doesn't matter. I mean, look at those people, what their PNL is now after this whole jittery year. So I think 6 months to 1 year for understanding everything that is there to market, enough, more than enough if you have the right intent and effort. But 1 to 3 years to call yourself a good trader, very important.
A straightforward question to both of you. Siddharth, I think you can go first. When to
Yes.
get into trading full time? When do you take that call?
I can say once you have 2 years of saving in bank account, will run the home without making money for 2 years, which is, I believe in family first, safety first. उनको problem नहीं होना चाहिए. And then number two, if you are able to make, as he was saying, if you are able to make consistent money from market in all three cycles. So if you have seen only 2021 bull market and you made money for 1 year, that is not good enough. But if you had seen 3 months of bull market, 3 months of bear market, 3 months of choppy market, and if you are able to survive all three markets with proper strategy, system, risk management, then maybe 1 year is also good enough. So all three cycles phased, made money in all three cycles, and plus 2 years of saving. ये दो condition has to be there before quitting the job.
Right. I think a lot of people, what they've seen is just the 2021 market. You know, after the lockdowns, a lot of people got into the markets. They got introduced to the stock markets. So a lot of people have just seen this kind of a market going straight up. And, you know, making money in such a market is a cakewalk. You just take out, you print out a list of 200 shares, you pick any random one, it'll make money. So that has been the kind of market that we've had in the past couple of years. Not couple of years, actually. The past 6 months have been a little different. And they've shown a different side of the market to people. You know, that market can also correct. लोग भूल गए थे कि correction भी कुछ होती है. तो 6 महीने में समझ आया कि यार, it's not so easy making money. You know, the returns that people have generated over the past 1 or 2 years, they just went down drastically over the past 6 months. A lot of people came into the negative because initially they put in a low amount, and as they made money, they thought, yeah, this is an easy way to make money. They put in more and more. So absolutely right that people should, you know, see different cycles of the market before taking a call whether to get into trading full time or not. Sharique, do you have something to add or give any advice on trading full time?
Yeah, I'd like to add something there, Arjun.
Yeah.
The fact that people do not look at trading like starting a business. So, like, when do someone consider quitting a job for starting a business? The number one thing there people do not talk about when it comes to trading: arranging capital. So when it comes to starting a business, you maybe take out a loan, take out money from your friends or family. You need to have a capital, right? So just like that in trading, again, in exact lines with when I said you have to be aligning with the industry benchmarks as well. Say, to be super safe, 30% is what you can make in a year. Again, let's be super safe, right? So, and you need 1 lakh rupees to survive a month to continue your lifestyle. So, to have that 1 lakh with 1 lakh a month, and your expected target is 30 lakhs. So, what is that? 12, 12, 3, 36, near 36, 40 lakh rupees is the capital you should have. So, you shouldn't jump into trading. So, as Siddharth rightly said, you should have if 1 lakh is your minimum monthly lifestyle expense, 1 lakh into 24 lakhs you should have as a emergency fund, plus another 40 lakhs you should have made as a capital as well. So 40 plus 24, 64 lakhs. So decide what that target is for you. Maybe 30% is too conservative for you. You might be confident in making 60, 70. Then work out maths, whoever is working it out. But you have to make sure those numbers have to be in place before you quitting. I've seen a lot of people who think because they see trading as an escape from what they're doing, right? Because the entry barrier to trading is so small, anyone could start, right? Because to start a business is difficult. They have to find a place, they have to have a solid business plan, they have to arrange capital, hire manforce, a lot of things. But an entry barrier in trading is very difficult. They want to escape their 9 to 5, escape whatever they are stuck in. They see, okay, I'll do trading. They convince their family, I don't know, and they just get into trading even with low capital, telling that, okay, I'll trade with small capital for 1 year, I'll figure it out, then I'll arrange capital from somewhere not going to work. So do that when you're already doing your 9 to 5, figuring it out, working it out with a smaller capital.
Yeah.
Do that side hustle, right? It's absolutely doable. And I'm sure a lot of big traders in India today, all of them have done the same thing. They've done trading as a side hustle. Arjun, I'm sure you can add something here, right? Given your experience with Big Four, I'm sure you probably traded in the side when you were working as well, and there was one point where you decided, okay, I'll go full all in. So maybe since you lived it full time, maybe you can give a better
So a memory comes to my mind. I used to work in PwC after doing my 3 years of articleship with KPMG. So markets was something I was really passionate about, and markets would open at 9:15, and the work would start at 9:15, 9:30 in the office as well. So I'd reach my office in Gurgaon and sit in the parking lot, Shanti se. I would open my laptop. In first 15 minutes or 30 minutes of the morning, I would sit in the parking lot and trade so that nobody would disturb me in the office. And then I would go and work. But the whole time, my broker login would be minimized, my trading window would be minimized in the background, and I'd keep checking it. So gradually, once you develop the confidence to trade full time, once you start getting profitable, and I'm sure the other points that you've added, one can quit full time, but it's not an easy thing. One should be ready for drawdowns. It's not a consistent income, basically. There are days, there are months when you don't make money, when you lose money. It's a nature of the business. It's a part of the game. So you should be ready, and you should know what you're getting into. And only then should one enter full time. It's not an easy thing. It's one of the hardest profession in the world. Sharique knows it, Siddharth knows it. For anyone who's been doing it full time, they know it. It's not easy. So make a conscious choice. Trade part time first, and then when you're confident enough, only then make the call to get into trading full time.
Sure.
So another thing, Sharique mentioned a very important point. There is no entry barrier to trading. This reminds me of an author, Mark Douglas. So some of the people in the audience might have read his book, Trading in the Zone. For others who've not, Trading in the Zone is one of the best books on trading, best books on trading psychology. In that book, he mentions the same thing. When you get into trading, it's an absolutely open field. You are free to do whatever you want to do. It's unlimited creative expression. You want to trade, you want to short, you want to go long. There is no one stopping you till the time you lose out on your entire capital. So in a field like this, discipline is something which is very, very important. You have to set boundaries around yourself via framing rules for yourself, via developing your own strategies, via, as you both said, having your loss figures defined, your max drawdowns defined. So there is a lot of stuff you have to do. For the lovely audience that we have here, I'd like you both to give 2 very practical tips or advice that you both follow for your trading, and you think that it'll help out the traders that we have amongst us. Sharique,
So
maybe you can start.
right. Okay. So practical tips, I'd say is it'll take time, right? I mean, so that's what I mean. You shouldn't rush into sorting trading, as what I believe. it would work. It would eventually work out. I mean, after spending so much time in trading and doing it for myself, what I understand, it'll eventually work out. So there would be micro highs and lows. So those micro highs and lows shouldn't be looked at as what I believe. I mean, when I look back, there are days where out of my bad actions, maybe I've lost huge money in a day. Absolutely not because market was crazy, because I was crazy. And there were nights even after I mean, I could call myself a good trader. I have had bad days, right? And those days I was so critical of myself, so critical of myself. I had like absolute loss. I had great highs. Some days I could make a lot of money. I could have great highs as well. So I think those highs and lows shouldn't drive you as a trader, right? If those highs and lows, I mean, never, right? I mean, if those lows, if you let those lows, I mean, LOWS, right? Those lows are affecting you, then I don't think that is never a good zone to be in. So it is eventually going to be all right in the long term if you have a good system. Just stick to it with a lot of perseverance and discipline. That's what I believe. I mean, you can see daily reports. Even I do a daily report on YouTube, daily reports by other people as well. So you need not be worried a lot about what's happening in the market on a daily basis, what's happening to your PNL on a daily basis. So that micro emphasis that people give, that shouldn't be there. It should be macro. You should start thinking macro. I think that's what.
Siddharth, anything you have?
So the number one thing, we need to maintain journal. If those who don't know what is journal, basically we need to document each and every single trade on a piece of Excel or a paper. Excel would be better and easier to track. And also with that, we need to have a mistake journal. So Excel में सारे trades document हो गए, उसके साथ में mistake journal हो गई. So making mistake is not a problem. Repeating is a big problem. So once you make a journal of your, let's say 20, 30, 40 trades, you have all the charts with you or whatever system you trade, plus you have a mistake journal. So you have something quarterly to review. Every single business, big businesses or small business, have their review meeting quarterly. But as a trader, we generally don't do that. Especially as a beginner, वो पता ही नहीं होता है कि ऐसा कुछ करना भी है. So journal is something which is very practical, executable thing, which is which has to teach at the time of opening an account. जब account open करते हैं वो time पे सेबी को ही कोई वीडियो देना चाहिए या broker को ही कोई वीडियो देना चाहिए कि ये चीज करो, it will help you in trading in upcoming time. So that's the one thing. Second, which is very practical, executable thing, is stop loss. Fix your stop loss and put that into the market. Every single trade there cannot be a position which is open in the market. And again, I believe somewhere SEBI needs to think on this कि किस तरीके से इस चीज को भी execute करे. कहीं पे कुछ तो stop loss रखो. So these are the two practical things which can help beginner really well.
Great, yeah, very practical points. And the point that Siddharth mentioned is something that I would like to strongly recommend also, that maintaining a trading log or a trading journal is very important. Record your trades, your experiences at the end of every session. Do it just for a month and you will realize the kind of difference that it makes to your trading approach. Another thing, it's a very practical tip from my experience, is that in the morning or right before taking a trade, just calculate the loss that you would take on your position if it hits your stop loss level. Once you've done that, just imagine, just think that this position will hit my stop loss level. I will be taking a loss. अगर धड़कन धक-धक होती है, if your heartbeat goes up, if there is fear inside you, that means something is wrong. Maybe your position size is way too big. You are not ready to take that loss. So that is a signal to reduce your position size, to lessen your position. And if you're comfortable, if you're like, okay, I am ready to take this loss, that means it's a good sign. You are comfortable, you would have no problem, and that's a go ahead. So great tips, guys. There are a few questions from the audience also. One of the questions is that how to minimize loss and maximize profit. ये तो एक बहुत ही बढ़िया क्वेश्चन है. तो सिद्धार्थ या शरीक, आप कुछ इसका आंसर दो यार, बढ़िया सा. So how to minimize loss and maximize profit. ये तो सीधा होली ग्रेल मांगी है, तो आप बता दो इस पे कुछ बढ़िया सा.
My small answer for this is have system. Don't trade just randomly. कभी न्यूज़ देख लिया, कभी टेलीग्राम पे टिप देख लिया, कभी व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में कुछ आ गया, कभी आरएसआई, कभी मूविंग एवरेज, कभी इंडिकेटर, कभी प्राइस एक्शन, कभी मुझे लग रहा है, हमें 9:15 बजे लगता है कि आज मार्केट यहाँ जाएगा वहाँ जाएगा. सो inspired or of all using all these things, stick to one thing, find your own system and just stick to it.
Yeah. Sharique, a question. People are having a lot of fear and greed. Fear and greed are the natural emotions that come to your mind while trading. How do you curb this mindset and not let fear and greed affect it too much?
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, these are the exact emotions that brought us into the market, right? Greed, probably, I'd say. So I think you have to embrace emotions for sure. But I kind of mentioned this earlier, right? On a micro basis, which is on a daily basis or on a trade basis, I think you shouldn't exercise it. I know. So my point is, I know greed is what brought us in, and fear is what leads us to do stuff as well, to make money. You have fear of your physiological needs and whatnot, right? So all of those are there, but on a
Yeah.
trade to trade basis or on a day to day basis, I think you shouldn't be too critical, or you should be applying greed or fear or even any other emotion for that matter. So like that's what I understand in trading psychology, right? I mean, whatever emotion you have, it shouldn't be attached on a very micro basis. But otherwise it's fine. I mean, it's good to establish and acknowledge the fact that we have emotions. These emotions are what brought us in, and at the end of a month or a quarter, which is said, quarterly analysis are really great. So when you do that as well, attach emotions, which is fine. Be happy, be sad, be fearful that your system is not working out, because that fear would drive you to make your system better. Maybe some tweaks
Yeah.
here and there might be good,
Right.
but
Right.
don't make this emotions make your life bad, make you too critical on yourself, because
Right.
I mean, it's all about having a happy life at the end of the day, right? So if you're too critical because you have emotions on a daily basis and that's making your life bad, then what's the whole point in trading? So don't do that.
Correct. Correct. I think great answer. To curb fear and greed, one of the best ways is to have rules around your trading. It can be in the form of a system. System does not necessarily mean that you have to, create an algo, automate it, or everything. Just
Yes.
have rules for your trading. That means, when would you enter? What are the conditions specific to which you'll take an entry? And same goes for an exit. How would you trail? How would you manage that trade? When you have all that defined, then you do not have to think about all this during your market hours, and that makes your job a lot easier. Fear and greed does not affect you to that an extent which it would if you have to think everything from scratch right in the trading hours. uh,
That's better. That's amazing. Yeah.
100%.
a very good question that has come up: how to keep your mind healthy and not exhausted trading too much. Something which I personally follow is, trading is a tough profession. You are sitting in front of the screen 6 hours, 7 hours. It can be hard on you, and you do feel exhausted. So the best thing which I recommend is to have a fitness routine, do some physical activity. It's your mind that is working the whole day. You need to give it a break. Do something in the evening or morning whenever you get time. Aadha ghanta nikalna is not a problem. You can do that for yourself. Meditate if you want to. These are the two things which I do very regularly. It's in my routine every day without fail, and that really helps me cope up with whatever stress my trading environment gives me. Sharique, Siddharth, would you like to add anything? What do you guys follow for your own selves when managing this stress that is related to trading?
I generally stay far from the news, so no news. I don't know what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
uh, Even like things like COVID also बहुत लेट पहुंचा हम तक कि ऐसा कुछ मार्केट में है, so उतना दूर रहता हूँ मैं न्यूज़ से. That's a one thing. So it's like garbage goes in, garbage goes out. So stay away from the news is one thing, जिससे mind एक clear रहेगा. And second, meditation is one more thing which can really help. मतलब that helped me, I can say.
Sharique,
So
anything?
yeah, I'm not a person great at meditation and even doing a lot of physical activity. So one thing I know is, so stress is in something which I've ever felt when I had great days. Stress is something which I felt when I had bad days. Right. I think that's true for all of us.
True.
So when I had bad days, what I do or what I've done is to back myself. Right. That's what I've done. So backing myself is looking into my own performance, my own PNL over the last many years. Right. So that's something. This is something very real that I have done. Right. When I have bad days, what I do is I open my PNL. I go to my console or whatever broker's back office I have. I open my long-term PNL. I look into it, and I go to those days where I have had bad days, even worse days than I had today. I look into that. I'm like, okay, I had a very bad day then. Even then, I put a whole year PNL thing, and I see, okay, this much money I made last year. Good, it's fine, it'll happen. So it's basically backing yourself, right? So like now, since I'm trading a few systems, I look into the back test, I look into the back test individual trades, and I see there have been bad days like this as well. And if you're doing an absolute system based trades, then I don't think you would be stressed at, like Arjun said this
True.
before,
True.
right? If, when you have a system, then in fact, that was great. I mean, I should have said that before. I mean, I envy you for that answer, right? When you have a system-based trading style, then you know what the system can do good or do bad. So if it's well within the system, I don't think you are stressed, right? So if you're doing discretionary, then you can back yourself with your previous performance. And I think looking into that is what can help you, and that's what
Right.
helping me.
Correct. I think we all have different ways to cope up with whatever mental stress and things related to trading. In the end, it is all about making yourself feel good, making yourself feel better when things are going south, or even day to day. It does not matter. You do not have to necessarily go to the gym or do something. Just do something that makes you feel good without fail every day. Be disciplined in that. That is something that works for me, and I think that is something that works for Siddharth and Sharique as well. Uh, so there are two questions that has come up. One is, as a day trader, is it necessary to sit whole day for trading? Either of you can answer. Is it necessary to wait and sit in front of the screen the whole day if you want to day trade?
No, if the question is it necessary? I wouldn't say, I would say it's not necessary, right? I mean, depending on whatever system, strategy, style you're trading, you can always put a target and SL and then leave the system. If it's absolutely automated, even if there are modifications, we're living in a day where anything could be, I mean, not anything, but again, a lot of systems could be automated, right? But again, let's not even get into that. Let's talk about simple intraday equity trading. I think if the question is coming from a beginner, that is what it is about, right? So put in a target, put in an SL, even if you want to trail brokers, give that. So just do that and leave. I mean, it's probably going to help you more than sitting in front of the system and watching it. I think in the initial days, sitting in front of the system and watching each and every candle, that has to be associated more to or more to learning about the market rather than making more profits. You'll be watching the style of each candle, see how rejection is coming in, how a wick can lead to a move on the other side. So all of those micro candle structures you can learn by watching uh, the screen for the whole day. So if you keep on watching the screen, and if you actually try to learn each and every candle, try to hear what the stories each and every candle is saying, then you'll eventually become a better chart reader. But to make more profits, I don't think you need to watch the charts
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the entire six,
right,
7 hours.
right.
True.
So that there's a question like, how do you develop your mentality to increase your appetite for profit? I think what he or she means is that, like, how do you sit on big profits? How do you develop that mentality that, to hold on to winners and let them grow big?
True. So I think so already Sharique answered that question that back test में जब हमने किसी जगह पे देखा, if for example Nifty had given let's say 3,000 points in one trade in the past, and if right now I'm sitting on 1,800 points, so mentally I know I already I still have 1,200 point minimum it can go up. So backtest is one way. Second, the answer would be little more not soft, but uh, once you're detached from your profits, then it's much more easier.
Yeah.
Once you say कि अच्छा
Right.
वो सामने चल रहा है, like the way you see traffic from 50th floor, if there is traffic, नीचे कितना भी जाम है, we smile and say अच्छा traffic है. But if we are into the traffic, then it's very difficult. So if we are able to detach from our profits, which is possible with the time, you can learn that how to get detached from markets going up and down. So then it may become much more easier to just to see, okay, fine, I'm making this much money, that is okay, or I'm losing this much money, that is okay. And again, system has to be in the place. So those are the 2 or 3 points I can give you.
Right. So someone is asking that, how much salary should one be having to start investing or trading in the market? Like, is there a minimum salary that you feel one should have, or let's say, what percentage of your salary should you invest in the stock market? Both of you, what do you feel on this? Is there any figure that comes to your mind, or any way to figure that out?
No, I think it is a function of how big the salary is. The bigger the salary, the higher percentage you can invest. So it's as simple
Yeah.
as that. Someone should try to understand that, right? So, but if you take like salaries in the range of what 30 to 50,000, and it would depend on your lifestyle and what your aspirations are, how big you're planning to be. So it's a very tricky question. There's never a blanket answer for the same, but there are rules per se which says that you should be investing 20%. What is it, 50 to 30 20% rule, stuff like that, right? So those say it's a 20% that you have to invest. But I think since the person who asked the question is spending time here on a live at 1:40 p.m. on a holy day, he is someone who has a lot of zeal and endeavor to learn the market. So he should
True. Yeah.
he should probably try to get out of this mindset of what is a
Yes.
blanket answer. Oh God, help me with giving me a percentage answer for telling me how much percentage I should invest. If he is showing so much intent, he should learn more to understand that, okay, if higher the salary, I can invest more. Maybe I increase my salary,
Right.
or I should control my expense, or what should be my even, because investing, in fact, is should be associated with your retirement. So what should be my retirement corpus be? At what age would it be? And after retiring, what would be my lifestyle? My inflation adjusted lifestyle amount per month, expense per amount, how much would that be? So then
Right.
what the corpus to reach that corpus with a 12% CAGR for an SIP? How much should I invest? That is the answer. It's never the percentage of your income,
Correct.
right? So
Correct.
if
Correct.
someone, again, I answered like this on a stage like this is because someone is showing so much intent to be here and ask that
Yeah.
question. Then he should get
Yeah.
out from the mindset of being a rat in the rat race and try to learn stuff for
Right.
himself and plan things out, right?
True, true, true. I think it also depends on how much of a risk you're wanting to take in
Yes.
absolute terms also. Say your salary is about 50,000 rupees, and like you're willing to put in 10,000 every month in the market to invest. I'm just talking about investing right now. Uh, my approach would be that, what if I lose 50% of this amount? Am I okay with that? If I'm okay with that, I would go ahead, because it is a risky field. And, we all can make goody goody projections that, the market would fall just 10%, 15%. No, the reality of it is it can fall 50% or even more than that. COVID taught us that it just takes a month for market to fall like a pack of cards. So you should be prepared for that. And when you're trading, you should be prepared for losing 100% of that. Just as a beginner, I'm talking about beginners right now. So you should invest wisely, you should trade wisely, and you should just always have this in mind that what if, the question of what if I lose this amount in the market? Would I be okay? Would I be able to sustain my daily expenses and my daily living style? Now, both of you put up amazing content on YouTube, और आपका content बहुत से लोग देखते हैं. A lot of people learn from you guys, and because there is a lot of information on YouTube. There are blogs, there are YouTube channels putting up a lot of contents. There are a lot of strategies. A lot of people, they feel that since there is so much content available in the market and they are watching so much content, it becomes a little confusing for them. And one of the person feels that he has learned so much in trading that he has become absolutely confused as to what to follow, be it indicators or be it a trading style. So, Siddharth Sharique, yeah, what do you suggest? What the approach should be? Should it be to keep watching stuff and keep trying new stuff, or should it be to stick to something that you've learned and try it for a while?
So it
Siddharth,
is
maybe
very
you can
similar.
add. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sharique,
it's
please.
very similar to
Yes, Sharik.
yeah, sorry. It's very similar to finding passion in your life, right? So how do you find what you love to do in life? You try multiple stuff, right? You keep trying multiple stuff, and eventually you will understand, okay, this is what I want to do, right? So I hope this is how people do it. I mean, this is how it should be done, at least. This is how you should find your passion, by doing all that kind of excites you, and finally you would understand that this one thing is exciting you the most, or rewarding you the most. Even if it's not exciting, it is rewarding. That's how people end up doing boring jobs, because it is rewarding them. It's making their home run, right? So just like that, even when it comes to trading, I know there is content overload on YouTube today, but it's okay, I guess, for viewers or for traders to follow multiple stuff, try multiple stuff, see what is exciting them the most, see which is helping them, which is what is working out for them, and what is rewarding someone the most. And reward can be different for different people. For someone, higher ROI can be a reward. For someone, lesser ROI but a higher win rate, or a lower drawdown can be a reward. So try different stuff out. It's only good that we have multiple stuff, but one, don't get confused and don't get lost in all of those. Like, be very clear onto what you need. Your why should be clear. When your why is clear, then you try different stuff out and see one. And when something starts working for you, then please don't go running behind content and more strategies. Stick to that and let that work for you.
Siddharth, what would you say to this?
I would say we need to select people. Okay, किसको सुन के I'm getting pulled towards something. As you said, passion is like heart's call. So a few years back, when I was started listening to the mindset and this that, there were a lot of people, but then किसी को सुन के ऐसा लगता है कि अच्छा इसका सुन के मैं कहीं पे पहुंच जाऊंगा, आई विल ग्रो इन माई लाइफ. सो वी नीड टू पिक फ्यू पीपल के एक या दो या तीन जहां पे भी दिल लगे. आई कैन से wherever your heart is, wherever your passion is, whomever you can connect your vibes, I can say, and stick to that person, stick to their strategy, believe in them, believe in that particular strategy, and grow with that.
Yeah. So I think, guys, you both have amazing, you all have amazing, these two YouTubers in front of you who are putting great content. We all are available on Twitter and other social media platforms. So if you have any questions that we've not been able to answer because of lack of time, you can put it up there, and we'll try to answer that. And a big thanks to both of you for answering the questions patiently and sharing your inputs. I think the Groww team can take over now, and we can wrap up this session.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Any closing words, guys? Anything you want to say before we end the session?
Had great fun today. It was awesome to meet Sharique also. I've seen few of his videos maybe sometime back. It was good to be here.
Yeah, same here. I mean, to get started, to have on an event being organized by Groww, but more importantly to share the panel with Arjun and Siddharth. So such a pleasure. It was great. Looking forward to more such collabs.
Definitely. Thank you so much. And I think it was very insightful. Also, folks, let us know in the comments, how many of you are now motivated enough to start your trading journey, slow but steady. Let us know in the comments. Thank you. I think a lot of both of you.
Actually, I think, Richa, I would like to add something. The people who are watching this session today on a holiday and on a day like today, when they're out with their friends. So it's a great thing, and it shows the kind of passion they have for trading. And my respect to all those who are watching this. And I say this to everyone: keep putting in the effort. Do not get disheartened. There will be moments you'll have up and down. But one thing I say is, rukna nahi hai yaar, kaam karte raho, lage raho. You will ultimately find your calling. You will ultimately find success in the market.
Well said. Very well said. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's true for any profession. So thank you.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing. Please read the risk disclosure documents carefully before investing in equity shares, derivatives, mutual fund, and or other instruments traded on the stock exchanges.